Welcome to Project ODST Episode 2. Today we're going to be starting the painting process on the helmet, but before I start painting it, I need to test and see if this thing is properly airsoft safe. So I have right here my main airsoft gun. Hopefully YouTube doesn't demonetize me for having a gun that's closer to being real. But this is the Game Face Voodoo shotgun. Don't ask me what the name is about. I have no idea. But this is like a spring action kind of thing. And I don't remember the exact FPS, but let me tell you, this thing hurts. If you get hit by it, it will leave a welt. I have been shot by it more than once, so I know exactly how much it hurts. So if this helmet is weak and the visor will break or whatever, this gun will definitely, at the very least, leave a mark. So let's go ahead and shoot this thing a couple times, and fingers crossed that it's safe. Because the last thing I want is to put that on, go play airsoft, and have a BB go right through and hit me in the eye. That's like worst case scenario. Alrighty, we've got the helmet on the bucket ready to be shot. So let me take a few paces back and shoot it. I want to shoot it at pretty close range, just to get the most power out of the gun as possible. Because like this shotgun can actually shoot pretty far, but it gets less accurate and less powerful the further it is. So I'm gonna shoot it from pretty close. Okay, here goes nothing. Safety off. You know, it probably would have been a good idea for me to get other eye protection, like my other airsoft mask, but here we go. One shot. Okay, I think that'll do it. So let's go and see what the damage is. Okay. Well, there's definitely some marks on the visor. You can see those are kind of rounded marks. Those are definitely from my pellets. Oh. Everybody, this is a cat. My cat, Cosmo. Well, my family's cat. He's not specifically my cat. Yeah, some dings. Not bad. I don't think it actually really scratched the lens. I think that's more of maybe like residue from the bullet itself. And then up top, right here, one hit right there. So it dinged it a little bit there. Dinged it a little bit there. So it definitely leaves some marks, but I don't think I have to worry about getting a pellet in my eye. So that is really good to know. I may eventually have to replace the visor if it gets too many dings on it, but for now, I think we have a green light. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint it. I think it might be warm enough for me to start the painting process today, but I do have to keep it to warmer days. So this video is probably gonna be made over a span of a few days. But yeah, so that is the first part done. Looks good. So my camera battery died, and it didn't charge until the next day. So here we are, day 2. There's Cosmo again. And we are going to start the painting process because it's actually a really, really nice, like 55-degree day. Yes, I know there's snow, but it's in the shadow. So it's actually really warm and it's perfect weather for painting right now. So what we're gonna do is we need to remove the visor, because obviously I can't paint the visor because then I wouldn't be able to see. So there are screws here and here. This kit was supposed to come with screws, but I think the guy forgot it because I didn't get any. And these ones are just kind of placeholders for the moment because they stick out kind of too far. which I was going to cut them, but then I realized if I leave this and keep these screws, that means I have the potential to make some add-ons later. So like maybe a flashlight attachment or something. So I think that'll be pretty cool. So let me see if I can go ahead and get this unscrewed. I might not be able to do it while holding the camera, but wait, no, it's coming. This visor is really, really stiff. So it's wanting to pop off like right away. I'm actually a little worried it might come snapping out and like smack the camera a little. Okay, yeah. Let me actually get these off without the camera near where it could be smacked. But you get the idea anyway. These screws are just going to come out and the visor will come out. Alrighty, we have the first screw out. Now the second one doesn't have any pressure on it, so I can just kind of unscrew it nice and easy. Right, like that. Come on. Good grief. I thought okay, there we go. So now the visor can come out. There's the visor. It's a little bit more bent into shape. When I first got it, it was a little more wide out. So now we have this out of the way. We have the screws out of the way, and the helmet is ready for painting. Let's go. Okay, well, actually, no. I stand corrected. There's one more thing we have to do before we can start painting. Okay, so see right here, there's kind of some rough spots. There's some on the other side too. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this Dremel and smooth it out a little, just so that this doesn't kind of show up under the paint, because that would definitely stand out. So what I want to do is I'm just gonna flatten this down just a little bit. Okay. So I'm pretty new to using a Dremel tool, so hopefully I get this right. And you want to do this outside for obvious reasons. You see all this dust? You don't want that flying around inside. And you probably don't want to breathe it either. Okay, I think that'll do it. There's definitely still some marks there. There's more marking than I would have liked. But again, I'm very new to using this. I really don't know what I'm doing. So I think that's about as good as we can hope for. Paint should cover that up. And now we can really get to painting. All right, let's do this. So I got my bucket here, covered it up in some packing paper because I don't want to paint the bucket itself. And then what I'm going to be using is, first we're going to use a coat of flat gray. It's like a paint and primer stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the whole thing gray, because we want gray highlights on the final product. So I'm going to paint the whole thing gray. We're going to let that dry. And then we'll do masking. And then paint the whole thing blue. And then we'll peel off the masked sections and the gray will still be visible. So that is the plan. There is our very first coat of paint. That's a very, very thin coat. I'm gonna try and do this in thin coats, but I'm gonna have to do it a little slow, because you can see some of the angles are not gonna get hit in the first spray. So like, especially on this side, it's kind of dark because of the sun, so you can't see it, but I couldn't get on that side as well. And obviously on the bottom too. So I'm gonna have to wait for this to dry a little and then flip it over and then spray there. So now is we got a little bit of a waiting game. That's looking nice though. The surface is pretty smooth. The paint came out a little kind of rough in a couple spots, but it looks like as it's drying, it's kind of flattening out a little bit. So that looks nice. I'm happy with that, how this is coming out so far. Obviously, we still need a couple more coats, but this is a fantastic start. So it's dry enough for me to touch now. So this side is the side that needs some more paint on it. And the sun is really direct right now, but it's a little bit thin here, and then kind of on the side, and then down here you can see we haven't gotten any paint down there yet. So, but again, I'm really happy with how this is looking so far. It's looking great. Now, the original color of the helmet was actually a pretty nice gray, but you could see all of the like marbling and whatever in the plastic from the molding, and we want to make sure none of that is visible. So far, the paint is doing its job. Coat number 2 down, and I am really happy with this so far. I mean, look at that. The color and the texture is just a lot more even now. Let's see. Is it... yeah, it's dry to the touch now. So we can see the bottom. Make sure I'm not leaving any marks. Let's see. What about under here? Yeah, that got covered pretty well. So now, again, it's just kind of the bottom section and then the actual bottom row itself that I need to get. And then I'll probably do another coat over the whole thing just to help smooth everything out. And then the blue, honestly, the blue is what I'm most excited about. So what I'm going to do is this band here, back to here, and then the middle stripe, and then this little panel here, the same on this side, and then the vents here. I'm gonna mask that off, and then, wait, let's see, around the back. This is my first time really doing camera work like this, so hopefully it's not absolutely awful. But yeah, underneath here, you can see there's like little indented sections. Those will be masked off as well. And then the blue will go over everything else. And then I'll peel all that off. I think what I'm gonna do is painter's tape and some paper. Cover all that up and then peel it off once we're done. So yeah, once again, a waiting game. That's just how it is. For you guys, luckily, you will get to see it all with very little pauses, because that is the power of editing. So we got the bottom painted up, and I think mostly for the gray now I just want to do one more coat just to make sure everything is all nice and even, and that there's no, because sometimes this paint, you can spray it on, it looks even, but then when you look closer, it's actually kind of like this little haze over top of the original color. So I want to make sure I eliminate all of that, and then we'll just let it dry probably for about an hour, and then I can start masking off the sections that I want to stay gray. So let's go ahead and get that last coat on. So I've realized that if I do the masking and then do the blue too soon, my paint's just gonna peel right off with the tape. So what I'm gonna do is, this is gonna have to dry for like 24 hours or more to let the paint set, to make sure that everything is all, you know, I just need to make sure that the paint doesn't come off with the tape. So I think that's where we're gonna cut it for this episode. I think we got a pretty good amount of progress. We're getting there. It's definitely gonna take a while. It's not a quick process at all, but we have made some very nice progress. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.